Hello, hello. Can everyone hear me okay? Here, let me... What's up? Can y'all hear me okay? Is my mic picking up? Let me double check. Hey, Wacky Jackie, what's up? No, you sound like a child. What does that mean? Hello? I don't have any filters on. I sound like a manly man. What are you talking about? What's up, Grizzly? Oh no, what does that mean? This AMA sucks. It was a joke, doofus. Fair enough, fair enough. Well, if it sucks, then I'll be explaining why I think it sucks. I'll explain my thoughts on it and everything. Ooh, I got 23% on my phone. That's not great. Let me pull up my stream so I can have the chat next to me. There we go. They're very cooperate now. I think you meant corporate, but sure. Oh my lord, get a freaking second monitor. I would like to. Like I said, try charging your phone once in a while. It was at 100% earlier today. That's all I'll say. On Discord, I was asking if you wanted to play one day, as I wanted to make a neon outline of you and need a pic of you in-game. LOL. What do you think? Personally, I'm not a huge fan of neon outlines. But if you want to make one of me, I believe you can print photos of me from my profile. I take pictures of my character all the time. If you were to go in my profile in game, I think you can print it from there, which would be dope if you want to do that. But you know, it is what it is. I don't really log on Rec Room very often anyway, unless if I'm streaming, so or working. Making a short fun vid. What short fun vid are you making, Grizzly? Of course I spelt it wrong. I figured you didn't mean cooperate. Otherwise it wouldn't be a good AMA if they were cooperating. Grizzly need to go back to school. That's what I'm saying. All right. So I have it pulled up here. Let me double check, make sure. Let me put this over here. Let me double check. I got it pulled up. There we go. For some reason, the chat box doesn't show up when I'm in the full screen face cam live. So, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't know why it does that. But yeah, I have the AMA pulled up here. We're going to do a live reaction. And what I'd like to point out immediately off the bat is this amazing like to dislike ratio. That is a fat chunk of people that disliked this. Hello, Quick Ant. Welcome to the stream. That is a lot of people. Let me refresh real quick. Make sure it's paused. Shut up, Gribbly. Yeah, 152 dislikes. That is a huge chunk. Not enough dislikes. Here, I have it pre-liked. I'm gonna unlike it. It's just my anytime that it's a post or something like this, I like it for some reason. I'm gonna unlike it just to be sure. Yeah, most of the questions from this were very negative. Yeah. And the answers I've heard, at least looking at looking at this response here, I've heard that the answers were very avoidant or not what we would like to hear. Therapeutic said, I'm a little disappointed in quite a few of these answers. The lore is just to sell items. Activity boxes aren't the way of the future. Too busy to create a new weekly challenge system. She said sigh out loud, so I guess I was hopeful to hear some better news. Tear emoji. But all of Gribbly's answers felt like bucket after bucket of cold water being poured on the community members. That's not a great sign, especially since I really agreed with her recent video where it was this one, exposing hashtag Save Rec Room. Save Rec Room was very poorly targeted and very poorly uh, ran. It was made for the wrong intentions, but it had a good intention. Like it had a good message behind it overall. It's just that people didn't know what they were doing, and she gave a lot of the actual direct questions that and the direct criticisms of Rec Room in this video, uh, of what people are complaining about, and yet, yeah, if she's the one saying that she's disappointed, and I agreed with her video, then I have a feeling I know where this is gonna go. You know, I met Tara on Thursday, and today I finished the neon outline I told her I'd make. LOL. Fair enough. Damn, Tara is usually so positive. Yeah, that's why this is like, this is concerning. Although she is, sorry. Although she is pretty critical of Rec Room when she has to be. That's what I respect. Timestamps for each question in the description. I did see that. Yeah, when we were when I was waiting for the countdown, I seen all of these and I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be an interesting AMA, huh? We got is Rec Room dying? Prioritizing community features. Rec Room vision. Fucking whatever coach is. I don't know what that's about. Weekly challenges. That's a huge one people are complaining about. Older RRO updates. RIMS 2.0 transition. All of these are like really big things that I'm worried about. And so if this is a very poorly received AMA, then this is probably not going to go very well, huh? But yeah, I think we should just get into it, huh? Hey, Jeff, welcome to the stream. Seen you a second ago there. Womp womp. Gribbly's like 40 or something. Okay. So it doesn't surprise me that he'd swear LOL. I mean, yeah, it's just funny because he's a dev member. Ew, imagine if they make Coach an actual person and have them go around meeting players. It will be horrible. Oh my god, if they make her like an NPC. Oh, holy crap. That would suck. The lore is so bad. The lore is so poorly managed, and it's just I would really like to see them do something actually good with that. But yeah. All right. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. Everyone ready? Everyone strapped in for a 44-minute Brody Gameplays criticism of Rec Room? I mean, I'm going to be pausing left and right, so it's going to be way more than 44 minutes, but like, you know. If this is a horrible AMA, then I might not be here for very long. Well, I mean, fair enough, bro. The Kosh, welcome to the stream. Also, yeah, it's not that Gribbly is an adult. It's that they are always so on top of being kid-friendly, and the top guy uses F-bomb is shocking. Yeah, especially on, like, the actual Rec Room not Discord, the Rec Room YouTube channel. That's what's surprising about Gribbly swearing, not fucking the fact that he's 40. I watched Ruth react, and it's just crazy. They listened, yet they didn't properly respond. That's true. I have a feeling that that's the main thing that a lot of people are complaining about with this. So I guess we'll just have to start it up and see how it goes. Your honest opinion on Rec Room for right now. I think it's currently... They are trying to go in the right direction, but they are not sure how to do that. And everyone who is complaining and criticizing Rec Room doesn't exactly know how to. So the criticisms they're getting isn't very useful. And so I think Rec Room has good intentions, but also they're a company. And so obviously their intentions also will be fueled by what makes money. So unfortunate, but hopefully they can turn their intentions around. Okay, let's start it. Enough yapping.
Hey everyone, welcome to beautiful down.
Can you guys hear it well? Is it? Do I gotta turn it up? Turn it down? Should I turn the volume up? They gotta turn it up. A bit quiet.
Downtown Cryptid Creek.
Is that too loud now, or is that fine? Here, let me put it like middle.
Gribbly here, back for.
Is that better? Better? Okay, cool. Here we go. You should forget about Rec Room and just make your own game that is just like Rec Room but more fun. Dude, I'm gonna make a Rec Room within Rec Room. How about that? The audio quality in this AMA is so bad. That's we'll see, I guess. It doesn't sound amazing, just off the top of it. Okay, here we go.
Hey everyone, welcome to beautiful downtown Cryptid Creek. Gribbly here, back for another AMA. I'm here with Corbins. So first of all, I got a few housekeeping notes before we get into the questions. So let me go through a few things with you. First thing, this is just part one of the AMA. As we went through, we found that there was a lot of questions. I got super busy. We didn't get through all of them. We'll come back and do a part two early next week, but we're gonna get.
It's a part one and there's 44 minutes of content. That's crazy. Yeah, the cursor. I noticed this too. It's up in the top left. His cursor's constantly there. That's so annoying, bro. I noticed that and I was like, bro, who screen recorded this? I thought it was mine too. I watched like the first 2 minutes of it and I was like, is that my cursor? I like the screen's gone away, but the cursor's still there. Part 1 of 2, and it's 44 minutes long. Jesus Christ.
Get through as many as we can today. So that's first thing. Second thing, hey, like I said, I'm here in downtown Cryptid Creek. This is one of the areas in the brand new RRO My Little Monsters, which we just released. So I just want to say, if you haven't checked out My Little Monsters yet, you really should. It's fantastic. It's fun. I know a lot of people have been really loving it. So come on down to Cryptid Town and
yeah, I love playing a game that I can't play with my friends.
We just rolled out full body avatars in beta to everyone, so everyone can jump in, give it a try, see what they think, try the new expressive capabilities in the new avatars. Let us know what you think. It is a beta, so there's more work to be done. And if you're interested, we've published a pretty detailed blog post about the interesting technology behind the avatars. We call it a peek beneath the hoodie. Also, some of the interesting work that's coming up as we kind of move forward with avatar technology to do all sorts of interesting, cool stuff. So yeah, check that out. Try out the FBAs. Fourth thing is stay tuned. We have a big announcement coming. So we hope on July 9th to have a really exciting announcement.
July 9th. How long from now is that? We are June 29th. So it's a little bit over a week and a half. Interesting what that's about.
So stay tuned for that. I'm not going to say anything more than that. I'm going to keep it mysterious, but July 9th. Keep your ears open. And then the fifth thing I want to say before we get to the actual questions is I just wanted to talk directly about the Save Rec Room feedback that we've been getting on Discord, on YouTube, on Reddit.
Straight into it.
A common complaint under Save Rec Room has been, hey, they don't listen to us. Do they not care what the community thinks? They've removed features like weeklies and things like that. I just want to say, hey, look, first, we do read all of that feedback. Lots of people on the team, myself included, do watch the videos. We read the feedback. I think we're pretty well aware of some of the feedback that's coming into us. And so I wanted to take a moment to explain some of our thinking behind some of the decisions we make to give you a little bit more context for what we're trying to do here and how it all fits together into a big picture. This is not to say you're going to agree with every decision we make or every reason I give you, but I did want to just share how we think about it in case it helps as you kind of think through these things in the future. When we...
Okay. So I'm not sure how I feel about that, because the thing is, I think the problem, especially with me having looked into the whole Save Rec Room thing, I believe them. I believe that they do look and review their own feedback. I just think that the feedback that they receive a lot of the time is not healthy or like constructive criticism. It's just criticism for the sake of being criticism. It's not, it's, I don't like this decision that they have made, and so I'm going to complain about every single thing that they do. And I think the Save Rec Room movement could have been something good if it had the right intentions behind it. And so, yeah, I while I believe him, it doesn't really mean a whole lot if the reasons as to why people are mad about it are like very mixed, and people don't know what they're saying when they criticize them. You know, like they can criticize them, but if people don't know what they're talking about, then that criticism doesn't help them. You know. I'm gonna go now because it's almost 1 a.m. for me. So goodbye. All right, see you, Wacky Jackie. A lot of people have been having fun and loving it. Wow, really? I like it, but not many love it. Gribbly is exaggerating. He is kind of exaggerating. I haven't heard a lot of people don't even talk about My Little Monsters anymore. Because the thing is, it's probably the least social RRO, and it's also the most repetitive RRO. There's no way to play it in a way that is unique to you. It's all the same linear thing. Everyone has the exact same experience. No one can make unique content on it. No one can make their own experience by playing that game. And so I definitely, yeah, and you can't play with friends. It's extremely unsocial, which is like the entire point of like Rec Room in general, is that it's social. So making a non-social and repetitive RRO, it's probably why nobody even talks about it anymore. Nobody talks about My Little Monsters anymore, and it was just released. Make It to Midnight was being talked about months after it was released. Because it's replayable. You know? Anyway.
We think about Rec Room, we think back, we started the company in 2016 and we started, VR only. And really, in some ways, Rec Room was a collection of mini games where the focus was really on being social, getting to know people, making new friends, hanging out, having a great time. And I think, a lot of people really enjoyed that. I know we loved it. And we made a series of increasingly complex mini games that really became maxi games called RROs, Rec Room Originals, that, we're really grateful. We're very beloved by the community. A lot of people really fell in love with them. We are still in love with them. And, that's all great. But what we found was that's not really a great business. A common theme in the Save Rec Room feedback is, hey, everything Rec Room does is a cash grab. All they want to do is make profits. And look, I've always been consistent. You can go back and look at the AMAs that I made in 2016, 2017. I've always said it's important to make money as a company. We got to be sustainable. But I think it's a misconception that, Rec Room, all we're doing is like bringing in piles of money. We're, rolling around on our giant piles of money, and every decision we make is a short-term thing motivated only by profit. Really, nothing could be further from the truth. Rec Room doesn't bring in a lot of money month to month. We are not a wildly profitable company. We are still a fairly small and scrappy company in the scheme of things. And really, any money we do bring in, we are really investing in a long-term future. And I wanted to talk about
Seattle. Here. Can I search for... Does Rec Room have an Indeed profile? Or... Here, Rec Room job Seattle. Because they're based in Seattle, right? Careers. LinkedIn. That's what I was trying to go. Not the other thing. 201 to 500 employees. That's not a small company. That's what I'm saying. Let's say each of them... Shut up, everyone. Let's say each of them have average salary of a video game dev, which video game devs are not underpaid for the most part. They get paid well, right? What is the average salary of a video game developer or programmer? $120,000 per year. That is crazy. Here, wait, hold on. Designer. Each of them, both over 100,000. Now, yes, they don't only employ game designers, but if you have over 200 fucking employees in your company, and you're able to pay them a yearly salary, that's not a small company. You're not a small, scrappy company. Right? Like, let's just say, let's not even say 118. Let's say on average $70,000 per year times 200. That's $14 million on the low end that they are able to pay their employees of people that they employ. Isn't that's not a small company, right? I don't agree with that. Like, you are bringing in money. If you're able to pay that much to your employees, you're bringing in money. I'm sorry.
That to you. The future that we see for Rec Room that we feel is really sustainable and is going to be a great blend of an amazing creative achievement, an amazing technical achievement, as well as a sustainable business, is to build a radically cross-platform social UGC experience. So UGC meaning
Social.
user-generated
Keep that in
content,
mind.
meaning that you can build stuff like My Little Monsters, stuff that's anything that you can dream of, using the same tools that we build to build Rec Room originals like My Little Monsters.
Yeah, let's just all make My Little Monsters, guys. Let's improve the social experience of Rec Room and what Rec Room has been built off of, which is making friends and experiences by making the least social projects we possibly can. What a great way to showcase that to our community. What a great way to show how these tools can bring people together. Sure, let's go. We could totally make the same thing. I mean, I believe we could make, like, I think a Rec Room builder, like an actual UGC content creator, could make something similar to My Little Monsters. We have the tools. We just don't have the motivation to, when everything that is low effort still gets the same amount of visits. So, like, what's the point? You know?
That's the journey we're on. That's the sustainable future for the company. If we just go back to, hey, building quests, building paintball maps, shipping them out, that is not really a sustainable future for the company. There is not enough money, frankly, in doing that for the company to survive long term. And we want Rec Room to be around for the long term. You know, that's really our motivation here.
I do too. I want Rec Room to be around for the long term, but by saying, "Oh, we can't build quests because that's not sustainable for the long term," the people who want quests are your most reliable and most consistent people to bring others into Rec Room. They are your main source of consistent player base. They are the most consistent players that are going to be playing your game. And so if those people are the people that are constantly criticizing your game, how does that look for new players? Because, like, you can keep bringing in new players, but that doesn't really mean anything if those new players leave immediately because everyone who's been around for a long time criticizes you. Because then they know, why should I get invested in such a broken game if people who have been around for so long are also criticizing it? You know? Sometimes you do gotta just listen to what people want. If every single person that is your main source of player base, if every single reliable player base individual is asking for the same thing, why not give them the same thing? Like, you can still work on the other stuff, and you can still bring tools to the creator community, but you don't need to completely shut out the concept of at least updating broken things from older RROs or bringing in a new quest that everyone's been asking for. Nobody asked for My Little Monsters, and yet you guys still spent months making it. You could have used that time to make a quest. You could have still used the time to make a quest that brings in the same tools that My Little Monsters uses. You know? I will go by. Okay, see you, Kosh. Thank you for joining. It's not a great argument, in my opinion.
This, much harder project of making it a radically cross-platform social UGC experience, it means that, a bunch of really good things happen. It means that you can use the same tools we do to create anything you can think of. You can make money as well as us by creating content for the Rec Room ecosystem. And it means that we've got an endless world for people to explore, to go all the way back to what made Rec Room special in the beginning, which is making friends and hanging out with people. So
Just
by
like how
investing
My
in
Little
this kind of
Monsters lets you do
long-term
that, right?
social UGC future, that's what's going
Sorry,
to
I
make
gotta
Rec Room
drop that.
sustainable for the long haul, and that's what we're investing in, and that's why we make decisions that I know some people really, really don't like choosing to remove the weeklies, for example. I know it was a controversial decision, and I want to say, we don't do that. Our goal is not to upset anyone. I'm really sorry to anyone who's that was a really special feature to them, and they feel its absence. I apologize for that. The decision we make internally is, hey, that weeklies feature is not really on that long-term path to the top of the mountain that is a radically cross-platform social UGC experience, which is ultimately what makes Rec Room sustainable in the long term. So we have to make the difficult decision as a relatively small team. What are we going to focus on? We have to focus on things like the creator tools that are directly targeting that long-term future. We will continue to make RROs, including new quests, when the time is right, when we feel that the creator tools are capable of building a great quest. I think it's very, very likely we'll go back and make another quest, but not before then. We're not going to go back and just make another one for the sake of it. We're going to do it when we can do it with the creator tools, and make a really, really amazing experience with the same tools you can use. So I just wanted to share that kind of long-term thinking. There is some method to our madness here. It does mean we have to make
As long
tough
as they're
decisions
going to
sometimes,
eventually
and I know
make a
not
quest,
everyone
right?
likes that. But you'll see us invest in things that are on the road to the top of the mountain we see, which is a radically cross-platform social UGC experience. That's the future we see for Rec Room. That's what we're building towards. And so you'll hear me refer back to that vision a few times as I answer the AMA questions, but I just wanted to share that context up front, hoping that it helps understand how we think about things. All right, with that, let's get into the questions.
First question.
Okay, about
will
time.
volume sliders for individual players/users be a thing?
Yes, eventually.
Thank
I know
God.
the team wants to do it. I know we talk about it quite
The
often.
amount of times I've
I don't
wanted to
think
just
anyone's
turn one
actively working
person's
on it right
volume
now,
up or
but
down is
yes,
crazy.
we do want that to be a thing. I think that'd be a good social feature.
I don't think
So,
anyone's working on it right
yes,
now.
we will do it. Don't know when.
Cool. All right. Second question. Are there any plans to start taking creator moderation more seriously? There are many creators who steal rooms,
Just turned
copy
on my
maps,
AC.
and make inappropriate content for juniors.
Sorry
and
if you
almost
guys can
all
hear
of
it.
them seem to go unpunished.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, good question. So I think there's really three parts to that question. So let me kind of hit on each of them separately. So first of all, the idea of taking creator moderation seriously, I want to say very clearly, we do take it very seriously. We put a lot of effort into moderating content. I went and checked with the team, and
'Cause it doesn't get
we
that hot here.
review
I'm in
tens of
Canada.
Thousands of pieces of content every month. We review.
It's been
room
raining for a
reports, we
week. It
review
wasn't
shirt
hot.
Reports, inventions, events, all kinds of things. So
I meant turn up my
there's kind
AC
of
if I said
Part
down.
of it is, for everything that you do see that maybe slips through, there's a lot you're not seeing. So, there's a lot of content that gets made. The team is working super hard to moderate it. The work of a moderation team is never done. I'm sure you've, kind of seen this on other platforms. So we do take it seriously. We do work extremely hard at it. That's not to say we're always successful or that we're perfect or anything like that. So let me talk about the other two things. In terms of stolen maps, cloned maps, low effort maps, that kind of thing, yeah, we think it's a problem too. We're not delighted to see on the play menu low effort clone rooms, and we know it can be discouraging for creators when we see that kind of thing. We do have some stuff in the recommendation systems that looks for signals of low effort clones. I don't want to go into too much detail. But we do have some stuff in there. I think it probably needs more work and more updating to make it more effective. But we are trying to kind of, keep a lid on how much you can get away with there. I think there's a lot more we can do there. I really just want to share that, hey, we do think that is a problem. We don't think the work here is done.
One thing I would like to point out is that a lot of the time when I try to report a room for breaking the creative code of conduct, I don't really have the tools to report it. I have to do if for some reason let's say I report a room for breaking the thumbnail policy in the creator code of conduct. Well, if I was to go to try to report it, it doesn't actually show up. At least maybe they changed this recently, but last time I did it, it doesn't show up with that being an option There's always like, the usual reasons you would report a room, but nothing of the new like creator code of conduct or the thumbnail policy. It's always just you have to type out manually every single time the reason you were reporting the room, which is why it's tedious for me at least, to report the room. Does that make sense? So like, I would like to have the ability to, even if they are working on tools that will automatically find that stuff, the tools that we have currently are ass. Like not even the automatic ones. Like I'm saying the ones that we can use to report these issues, they're not good. They're very, very poorly maintained. They are not up to date. And so I would definitely, it would be less of an issue if people could report them more often without it being them needing to type out a whole paragraph in VR. Because that is, everyone knows typing in VR is a hassle, right? So, yeah. That's what I think, at least.
Pushing more and more towards ensuring that the content that gets recommended is really high quality content that people will really enjoy. And that rewards creator effort and creator creativity. On the junior thing, that's a good piece of feedback and actually something we've been talking about internally. I think what you'll see us do here is when you publish a room right now, if I go and make a room and I publish it, by default, the allows juniors setting is checked.
Dude, that's why I'm here.
I
I'm giving my thoughts. If you don't want me to yap so much,
games
then
and
just
software
leave the
probably has
stream, dude.
seen the power
If you want to
of
watch
default,
the
like,
AMA, go watch the
very often
AMA.
The default thing is what everyone ends up doing.
It's public, bro.
And so we think in this case we're seeing a bit of a power of defaults thing is that people aren't necessarily trying to publish stuff that isn't great for juniors. It's more that they don't even really think about it. Everything by default, everything that's published is published for juniors. We think we probably either we want to flip that so the default is off, or at the very least be a little more intentional in the UI flow. So it's encouraging creators to make an intentional choice. Do you want to allow juniors in this content? So we think that's the next step on that path, is looking at that default UI flow and seeing if it's appropriate.
How come there isn't as much transparency between staff and the players anymore?
Fair
I think
question.
people-
I hope that's more perception.
To answer what you just said, Pause, I think people put way too much, way too much, what is it? Strength in the idea of bringing a new quest to Rec Room. Like, I think they overestimate what bringing a new quest would do. I don't think that bringing a new quest would revive Rec Room in some way. Because, to be honest, it's not dying. Numbers-wise, it's not dying. It's doing fine. It's bringing in new players. The issue is that they aren't being reliable to their community. When that's, like, always been their main selling point and their main motivation as a company, is that they are not... they used to be transparent. Back in 2020, they were really good at that. Back in 2021, they were really good at that. They weren't perfect. They never have been, and no one expects them to be. But it's just I don't think that it's as simple as, oh, if they make a new quest, then it'll be good. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff they need to work on.
Than reality. Like, we're definitely trying. Like, we want our people, everyone who works on the team, to be talking to the community.
Hey, it's all good fun, man.
Like I said at the start of the video, we definitely, we are very aware of the discussions that are going on. We are in the Discord, we're in the Reddit, we watch the YouTube videos. So I think we definitely hear a lot of what is said. We encourage people to engage directly on Discord. We're kind of running an experiment, to be honest, in that we don't do a lot of traditional marketing as a company. We don't do a lot of ads, and instead we really want to focus.
The ads
on
that you
having
do
people who work
are
on the actual features.
They need
talk
work.
as directly as possible to the players, and just kind of like share work in progress. We've really kind of doubled down on that recently. We're really trying to do that more and more. I'm not sure how effective we're being at it yet, or how apparent that is to people. If you're on the Discord, I don't know how much you see of that. We are trying, though. Our goal is to kind of be a little bit more transparent with, like, here's what we're working on, here's what's coming. I think some of it, to be honest, is probably coming from, like I said at the start of the video, our vision is very focused on building this radically cross-platform social UGC world. That requires a huge investment in the creation tools, in the UGC side of things, the user-generated content side of things. And so I think a lot of that development, a lot of what people are working on, feels pretty abstract. You know, it's like, hey, here is some really kind of esoteric tool, or here is some circuits chip, and maybe you're a player who's, you know, not only are you not really a creator.
Okay, I don't think he's gonna go back around to what he was saying. Oh no, there's like half of this still left. Okay, I'll let him keep
Using a
talking
circuit
before I say what I
system.
want to say.
And so the idea of a list of, you know, hey, here's a bunch of new chips is not that interesting. So I think some of it might be just the feeling of a lot of what we're doing is investing in this UGC future. And so a lot of that kind of is like, hey, well, it doesn't feel like you're talking to me because I'm not actively using any of that stuff. So I think as we're really pushing towards a world where we're just talking very publicly about everything we're doing. I'm trying to be as transparent as I can today, like addressing the feedback that we're getting in this AMA and that we're hearing with the whole Save Rec Room hashtag or whatever. You know, we got no agenda to hide things from you. We are a relatively small company headquartered in Seattle with a bunch of people around the US and around the world working super hard to build this
200
radically
plus
cross-platform social UGC future. We don't have anything to hide, really. So, yeah, we'll talk about as much as we can. We'll be as transparent as we can. I think, you know, you'll really see us, I think, focusing on YouTube and Discord a lot in the next, you know, for the rest of this year, let's say. I think we're going to focus a lot of our communications there. So that'll be the place to come and talk to us and come and see what's going on. I'm on the Reddit a fair bit, so we can also chat there. But yeah, fair criticism. We got no agenda to hide things. I think we do get busy. I think maybe we don't always say as much as we could. We'll just try and be better. We'll try and be better. You know, today's AMA is a part of us. You know, we've done a lot of AMAs in the past. We don't do them as often as we used to. We're just busy. That's all it is.
Okay. I really do appreciate what Gribbly said here. And I do think what he just explained is a step in the right direction. What he didn't mention, like they're working on the Discord stuff, right? What he didn't mention is that they have a planned merger for all of the creative Discord servers, or at least most of the creative Discord servers, like the main ones. There's like the Ink, the Creative Hub, whatever else. I think the Rec Room Studio one is also getting merged into it. And what their goal there is because they run way too many Discord servers. They run like 4 or 5 Discord servers, and it's really hard to communicate to people if you have to do so on 7 different spots, you know? And so if someone like a normal player, let's say I am new to Rec Room and I want to keep up to date with what's going on in Rec Room, people might say, oh, you have to go to the Rec Room Discord to get updated on this. And I'll be like, okay, I'll go there for general Rec Room updates. But then it turns out I don't get updates on stuff in the creator sphere because I'm not in the Ink Discord, or I'm not in the Studio Discord, so I don't get updated on Studio stuff, you know? And so I feel like having that all merged into one spot will be definitely much more helpful in making people feel like they are getting the actual information from Rec Room, and they are not being they are being more transparent with us, because I don't think it's that they're not being transparent. I think it's more just that they are struggling to be, because there's so many different spots that they have made themselves have to manage in order to be. You know? Would be interested in seeing them addressing the military community at some point. It's clearly an active moneymaker, but the controversy and toxicity that surrounds it is questionable. I don't know anything about militaries, so I could not I could not give my thoughts on militaries at all, but I agree that it'd be interesting to see what they think, because I know damn well a lot of militaries get a really bad rap because of toxicity, and so I've heard a lot of rumors about people in that sphere, and I'm not going to say specific things because, once again, I do not know a lot and I am not educated in that. So, yeah. I don't think there was even one question that wasn't criticizing the stuff that they do. I know, right? Here, let me see. Well, I suppose the player volume sliders wasn't exactly criticism. It was just asking for a feature. So that's the one time that it wasn't criticizing. Prioritizing community features. Criticism, 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 criticism. There's a lot of criticism in these. Community sentiment, I bet that's also criticism. This might be criticism. Older RRO updates, that's criticism with how they're managing RROs. Criticism, dude, all of these are just all criticizing them. instead of asking for features or anything like that. It's crazy. It's crazy how mad they are. And I love that they actually went and are doing this AMA, because clearly there is a lot of stuff that people needed direct answers to, and direct stuff or direct like communication from Rec Room, and clearly they are struggling with that. So this is a good way to kind of bunch a lot of that together. Did they talk about contests? I do not believe so. Weekly challenges, Malone monsters, and make it to midnight activity boxes. I don't think so. I don't think they talk about contests. They don't really run contests anymore. They don't run a lot of stuff anymore, which is really annoying.
Next question.
Anyway.
Why are cosmetics in Rec Room getting more expensive? A couple years ago, a cosmetic would cost between 1,000 to 2,500 tokens. Now, cosmetics would cost between 5 to 15k tokens.
Yeah. Okay, fair question. And I know that this is, often high on the list of complaints when we get, criticism under the kind of Save Rec Room tag. And it's definitely true. I've talked about this on the Reddit. We definitely have some high-priced items. I wanted to kind of make sure I could say something smart about this. So I actually went back. I went and talked to the team, and we actually pulled the data for item costs over the last couple of years. And so, first of all, let me just kind of talk about the average cost of an item over the last 2 years. If you go back to July of 2020, the average cost of an avatar item, like literally the average, was 1,750 tokens, 1,750. And if you fast forward to today, so if we pull the number for today, the average cost of avatar items is 2,300 tokens. So that is an increase. It's definitely gone up. But on average, the price has gone up about 25%. And I should be clear that that's what people are actually spending in the game per day on avatar items. It's not the sticker price of the avatar items. It's definitely true that at the high end, our most expensive items have gone up more than 25%, but the average cost has not gone up that much. So this is one thing, is that I don't think the price increase is as extreme as people think. But I'm not trying to say you're wrong to have that criticism. I'm just trying to say, hey, there is some data on that. And it's not quite as extreme as I think it feels. I think, why does it feel extreme? Why does it look extreme? Hey, our most expensive items are more expensive. That is true. Why is that? Well,
from when I first joined in 2020, I believe the most expensive item was a unicorn horn that was 1,200 tokens. Or not 1,200, 12,000. 12,500, I believe. And now, we've been seeing items breach 20,000 tokens, right? 15,000 tokens. And I think that's why it feels like it's so extreme, is because on the high end, it's going up. Problem is, while the average of how much people are spending has gone up, and it hasn't gone up as much as as much as people think it has, I think the reason is because there's not a whole lot of reason to buy any lower end items. It probably would have stayed around where it is, even with the high end ones going up, if they made more low end items. Does that make sense? So, their main focus recently, especially with making new items, it's always been focused on making a new item that costs 10,000 plus tokens. And so, people, they rarely ever get new items that are their price range if they only spend a couple thousand per item. Does that make sense? Oh my god, yes, I remember when the unicorn was the most expensive. Dude, it was... Man, those were the days, huh? Those were the days. Yeah, they should make more simple items that are cheaper for the lower class. Dude, the fact that there's even a class system in Rec Room is a problem in and of itself. But, I mean, it's built off of the Roblox model, which, at that point, it was bound to happen regardless. It was going to happen eventually. It's just... The fact that it happened is what kind of pisses people off the most, it seems. Okay. Let's press play.
We, as I said earlier, we're not a super profitable business. We are not rolling in money. we do need to kind of keep money coming in to be a sustainable business so that we can get to that future that I talked about. And what we found is that we have we have players who are happy to kind of pay those prices for really premium items. So we're going to keep doing that. But I think there's two things we can do to make this situation better. One is just very simply, I think we can offer more lower cost items. So something that we've been working
Exactly what I just said.
Well, is we've been expanding our capability of making avatar items. We've been making it the pipeline more efficient. We've been opening up the types of creators that can get involved. Basically, we have the ability to have more avatar items on the market, and that will unlock the ability for us to have a broader array of price points. So you're still going to see expensive premium items. Like, that's an important part of our business. And so you're still going to keep us doing it. We're not just going to like unilaterally lower the cost of all items. We literally can't afford to do that. But what you will see is a much broader spread of items with some really interesting, cool stuff that is at a more affordable price point. So hopefully that will help. I think the other thing we can do is that our store design is pretty basic. Like, our store is not great, and especially it doesn't do a good job of surfacing any avatar items that aren't brand new. And since it's the newer premium items that the store tends to focus on, I think that creates the perception, not entirely wrong, but the strong perception that, hey man, everything is just super expensive and it just gets more and more expensive over time, which isn't fully true. There is a grain of truth to it, but I think we can do a better job with the store of recommending items to you that are more suitable for you. Like, if you're not the kind of player who's going to spend at those higher price points, the system shouldn't be recommending them to you. It should be showing you something that's more appropriate for you. The big picture here is, we make a decent amount of our revenue on avatar items. We are investing in opening up that marketplace a lot. Something you'll see, that's something we're actively working on that helps us build towards that long-term future is UGC avatar items, so creator-made avatar items. So, sometimes they get asked, hey, why are you investing in something like full body avatars, but not investing in updating paintball or updating laser tag? Well, the reason is full body avatars really opens up a whole new surface area for our creators to, make expressive, cool, creative content, but then also like make money on that. Spread their work across the whole community. So it really helps us build towards that future. So that's another thing that you'll see that I think will really, really change the game in what it means to buy avatar items, will be the opening up of the marketplace to our creators. So that's something we're very actively working on. It would be crazy of me to make any specific date promises, but that's definitely something we're working hard on.
I agree with him for the most part. The one thing that I don't agree with is ignoring other parts of Rec Room in order to focus mainly on these big picture things that you want to work towards. Because if you make this whole thing super fleshed out, you make Rooms 2.0 work really, really well, and it's got a huge bunch of capabilities. If you make full body avatars super, super useful to creators, at the end of the day, if everyone left before that because everything seemed like it was dying, because it looked like you were ignoring your creator base, then even though you brought those tools to us, no one's there for us to benefit from those tools from in the first place. Does that make sense? Like, you still have to invest in the things that people want, even if it's a small amount of your player base. Like, at the very, very, very least, you should be, if you have the ability to make this entire RRO, if you have the ability to make My Little Monsters, then you have the ability to update bugs and problems with old RROs. Right? At least bringing little bits of new content to them, one after another, to keep it feeling fresh, and keeping content going for people that consistently play this game. Let me just... Bop. Here, sorry. Let's do, there we go. Cool. But yeah, that's why I don't think, he is right. He is right about the fact that it's not a sustainable business model. But at the same time, it's not sustainable to ignore everything that you've already made in order to focus on just the new stuff, because then people will feel abandoned. And so once you have that new stuff out, people will not want to invest their time into it because it'll eventually go stale anyway. And from what you've shown in the past, you will abandon it eventually as well. So you still have to at least keep things working that have in the past that have been made in the past. You still have to keep the old RROs intact and fun and playable and not buggy and not break it every single update. You know? Does that make sense? Oh my gosh, it's Birdie Gameplays in the chat. Is that my brother or some shit? Who the fuck is signed into my own account? Is that me? Hold on. Is that a fake account? Go to channel. Okay, it's fake. I thought my brother was signed in on my account somewhere else. I was like, what the hell? Oh my god, guys. Brody Gameplays is in the chat. Dude, I'm a huge fan.
All right. Next question is,
Okay,
there
next.
have been numerous discussions
That is a
Rec Room
paragraph.
dying. Most players point out the removal of double shot, removal of weeklies, lack of actual room moderation, and the, quote, devs and community just hating each other, quote, among other things as the main reasons. Rec Room...
Is this the question that's like this long? Is it like a million words long?
Yeah.
Thank you for the question.
Wow, they're just gonna not read that. Like, he could at least... The thing is, that's a super long question, and look at how long this answer is compared to this one. Isn't that insane?
Packed with a
I feel like
lot
that's part of
interesting
why
feedback.
people are annoyed.
I hope I addressed that in the kind of, what I was saying at the start of the video about the long-term vision for Rec Room. I think there's really look, we have our eyes on the prize of building this kind of long-term, sustainable, radically cross-platform, social UGC platform. And I think that's a really, really exciting future. It does mean that, we have to be super, super focused on investing in things that get us towards that future. And that means not paying as much attention as some of our players would like us to. And frankly, sometimes as much as we would like to. We would love to go back and spend time just polishing up, paintball or laser tag or doing another laser tag map. The big one that comes up a lot is, hey, build another quest. It's been 5 years. There's definitely a part of us that wants to do that, and we get why people want that. Those are fun things. We're really proud of those, games that we made and those features that we've shipped. But we really, really got to keep our eyes on the prize of what is the sustainable long-term future for Rec Room. We think we know what it is. We're very, very excited about it. We think we're...
So you know that this is what what your community wants. You know that what people have been asking for a long time is updating or polishing other things and bringing a second life to things you've made in the past. And the reason that you don't do that is because your vision for the future is the main goal. And so instead of using 80% of your resources to that and then 20% to what people want, you resort to using 100% to the future and completely ignoring things from the past. Why? You can still... You have 200 employees at least. You can still afford to invest in polishing or at least fixing older projects that you guys have made in the past, because people still love those projects. And they are the staples of Rec Room. It might not be where you wanted this game to go, but those projects, those quests, those RROs, they are the first thing that a lot of players are going to do when they first join this game. And so if they're not polished or if they're not fixed when there's a huge broken issue with it, then you're going to be turning people away from playing this game consistently. I think that's part of the reason that, or I think that's part of the things that gets neglected with what they see as their roadmap for the future, is that they resort to bringing in 100% of their effort into the future, but completely ignoring what has happened in the past. And what that's going to do, like I said, is going to make people think that you are going to ignore what you are going to make in the future eventually as well. So why should we get invested in that? Why should we care that you are making something for us now that is going to be in the that is going to be big in the future when you can't even maintain what you've made in the past. You know?
We're making huge progress towards it. But yeah, we're on a journey here. And so, you know, all I can say to you know, those long comments and very passionate feedback is, you know, I really want to invite you on this journey with us. I know it's not always easy. There is a really, really exciting future at the end of it. So that's why we make those choices we make and why we don't always focus on
Again,
some of
same
those
point I just said.
Next question is, why do the developers at Rec Room keep pushing through the updates that most people have bad reactions to?
Okay. Well, there's a couple of things there.
There was a lot more... Ew, audio quality changed, first of all. There was a lot more to that question than just that. Do they really take the community opinions to consideration? Also, how do you see Rec Room's performance for the amount of users that have a positive view of the game in 2 to 3 years? Lastly, what is your opinion on the current state of the game and community? I hope that they bring up that second part after as well. Because just reading the first sentence and then calling it a day is probably why they have so many fucking dislikes. You know? Like, here, let me see. Here we go. This is the comment that I liked. It triggers me that only 10% of the questions that only 10% of the question is read sometimes. Me too, Bear to Bear. Me too.
Updates that most people have bad reactions to.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of things there. I think, you know, hopefully I explained some context of, like, you know, why we're working on the things that we're working on in terms of that long-term vision that we're trying to get to, right? Like, we're trying to build a radically cross-platform social UGC app that you can help build, right? And so that requires a big investment in creation tools, in systems to support that. It's a long and it's a difficult road, and it means that, you know, often we don't have as much time to work on things that, you know, we would like to work on too. We would love to add a laser tag map, or we would love to support weeklies for longer, but we have to make some really tough decisions about, hey, we've got to invest in the future here. So that's why we're working on those things. I think there is room to kind of push back a little bit on, hey, most people don't want these things. I think very often it's true, and this is not to minimize. Like, I'm not saying this to say it doesn't matter, but I think very often it's like, it's not that most people care about these things. It's often that there's a relatively small group of players, but they care very deeply about it. I think the weeklies are a great example of this one. So let me talk about the weeklies a little bit, because I know that was very controversial. And I think, you know, I said on Reddit, like, hey, you know, at the time we decommissioned that system, only 0.2% of players were using it, which is true, but I know that people heard that as like, well, hey, but those are some of the most engaged and most passionate players, and that's not a good reason to take a feature away. And I agree with that, actually. I think that's fair feedback. I don't think I heard that. I'm kind of thinking about that. The way I would say it is, you know, so I went back to think about it some more, and I think even in their heyday, when we first shipped the weeklies, like in the first year, say, the peak usage of that system was never above 5% of all players. But again, you know, that is passionate players who are coming back regularly, who are really, really, you know, keen on that system, really love that experience. So I get that. So really, you know, what it comes down to is what do we have time to invest in? And something that I'm trying to push the team on that I don't think we've always done a great job on, frankly, and I think this is not me criticizing the team. This is really me criticizing myself. You know, I've said it many, many times. The Rec Room team is one of the most amazing teams I've ever worked with. It's an incredible group of individuals, very talented, you know, and everyone's really working really, really hard to try and build something amazing. But, so, you know, anything cool that happens in Rec Room, I want to give credit to the team. Anything bad that happens, please blame it on me. For the weeklies, you know, what I am trying to put...
You are part of the team, and if something bad happens, we're still going to blame it on the team. It's not just on you, dog. Like, you cannot just say, everything good is them, everything bad is me. You are doing something good right now by communicating to us. Although a lot of your answers they feel very corporate and not very well directed towards the actual point of the criticism. But, like, still, you cannot say that every single good thing is the team, every single bad thing is you. That is not how that works. But yeah, again with the weeklies, like, that, yes, that is the people that are going to be consistent players and that are going to be your top supporters. But it's also the people that make content. Weeklies is something that people would stream every single week for content and would consistently bring content to the table. I've seen so many YouTubers start losing interest in Rec Room because it feels like making content now is stale. There's nothing they can do. And that's because Rec Room's taken away the stuff that allows us to make unique content and given us stuff that makes us make linear content, like My Little Monsters. Because My Little Monsters is a linear story that you cannot make unique in any way. So, while, yes, it is just the small portion of people that are very, very passionate about Rec Room that are going to be actually using that, and it's a small portion of the overall player base, those people are, one, carrying the social scene, and two, they are going to be the people who are going to inspire others to get into Rec Room as well. And if you would neglect the things that they do, and they have a negative output or a negative view on Rec Room, being the people that are the best supporters of Rec Room, then that's going to reflect on the new players, and the new players are going to not get invested. Does that make sense?
Push us towards is, I think very often we've tried to support more things than we can realistically support, and as a result, some of them don't get the bug fixing that they require, they don't get the optimization that they require. So I'm trying to push us more and more over time to, if we don't think we can properly support something and do a good job of it, let's actually retire it and remove it clean.
The problem I'm seeing is they keep relying on the community to do it themselves. They keep giving us the tools to make these things, but they don't want to make it. They don't want to, but we don't want to make it. We want to play it. I mean, the thing is that, while yes, we could theoretically make the stuff that, that they make. Like, we could make quests. I could make a quest probably, given some time. While yes, that is a possibility, and I could definitely manage that, I think the problem lies in the fact that there is no incentive to. Because again, with the moderation stuff and creator moderation, it's more easy to benefit from making a low-quality game and getting instant views than it is to make a high-quality game and gamble your future in the Rec Room space on whether this one game does well or not. Why would you gamble one game to do well that you work months and months on and then be depressed when it doesn't do well if you could just gamble 10 times on a shitty game that has a slight chance to just happen to pop off? You know? Hey, Brody, how long did it take you to get the gold hoodie, starting from when you tried to go big making games? I started making games before you could even make money. Started making games in 2020, and they introduced the creator payouts, I think, in December of 2020 or December of 2021, whichever one. But I got it pretty much instantly because I instantly monetized rooms that were already active of mine, and then it did well. So I got it pretty quickly. Or as soon as the golden stuff happened, then I got the golden hoodie pretty quickly. Same with the shades. The other two things took a longer time. It was the start of 2021. That's what I thought. I just wasn't sure. But yeah, that's how I see it,
rather than
personally.
have it on life support and have it half implemented forever. And I think that's what happened with the weeklies, right? So they were never used very much. We really didn't have the time and people to support that system properly. So we went to monthlies, and we weren't sure about whether we were going to get it back to weeklies. We probably said some confusing things. You may have noticed that we are a pretty transparent team. So sometimes the things we say, they're not as polished and as corporate as they should be probably. But we probably said all kinds of stuff with the best of intentions, but frankly, we just didn't have the time or the people to keep that system going in a good quality state. So we made the decision to be like, let's just not pretend that we can do this. Let's take it away. Let's remove it cleanly. And I know that disappointed some of you, and I'm sorry. That is on me 100%. But I do stand by the decision. As we kind of build towards this, invest in this future, we do have to make some tough decisions, and that means sometimes we can't support things that a small but important group of players might really love.
The next question is from the same guy. Do they...
So it's because they don't have... Oh, they didn't timestamp this one. So it's because they don't have... Oh, is that them reading the second part of that question? Whatever. I'll get to it in a second. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. They did come around to answering the rest of that question. But I agree that it's probably because they don't have the resources, but that's also probably because it was made so long ago that the system requires a lot of maintenance to keep running. And if it was to be remade today, it could probably be made a lot more efficient. And making a single skin every week wouldn't be something that a bunch of people would need to work on. It could be 1 or 2 people could run that system, and it would do well, and it would keep a lot of people happy and interested in the game, and it would keep it fresh. You know, I think it's because it's an old system that it wasn't sustainable. It's because it was made inefficiently. But I might be wrong. I don't know. There's no way I can know for sure. By the way, do you still play Stunt Runner with the physics changes? Nope, absolutely fucking not. They ruined Stunt Runner speedrunning, and a lot of the skips or speed boosts that I would use are no longer feasible, and so a lot of it is way more harder, and there's no point in me playing Stunt Runner for speedrunning anymore. Maybe for like streaming for fun or something to kick some poor little Timmy's ass in a competitive game. Then yeah, I'll play it on stream, but like competitively to speedrun, no, not anymore. There's no incentive for me to, which again is another thing. Like they changed the physics, and I don't even think they realized they changed the physics. They changed the physics in a way that like you can't keep your speed while sliding anymore when you have a boost, which is like a main component of speedrunning in Stunt Runner, and it makes the entire thing incredibly annoying now. And so yeah, I have no incentive to do that anymore. But yeah, good question. Okay, let's see what the rest of it is.
From the same guy, do they really take the community opinions into consideration?
Yeah. I mean, we do. You know, so like I said, we've got people on the Discord. I'm on the Discord sometimes. I'm pretty old, so Discord's too fast for my old man eyes. But I'm on the Reddit a fair bit, watch the YouTube videos. We talk about community feedback all the time internally. I think we're pretty aware of, of the sentiment of the community. And so I think I would separate out. There's like a difference between listening and hearing the feedback and then making the decisions that people in the community might wish we would make, right? I think there's a big difference. So we hear the feedback, we are listening, but I realize that we don't always make the decisions. We don't always act in the way that you might want us to. So I think I wouldn't put those two together. We are definitely listening.
Third question. Also, how do you see Rec Room's performance for the amount of users that have a positive view of the game in 2-3 years?
I guess, I'm going to guess this question is aimed at the kind of Rec Room is dying narrative. I mean, Rec Room is not dying just objectively by the numbers. We're adding users. We feel good about that. But look, I think in the spirit of the feedback that we're hearing a lot and that I agree with is that at the end of the day, it's not all about numbers. Something that I've always been passionate about. Like I've been working in video games for 30 years, Corbin. Do you believe that? I'm an old.
That's
man.
crazy.
So I've
Holy
been
crap!
Doing this a long time. I've been working on a lot of games in my career. Amazing industry. If you're looking for a career, I recommend games. But games really when you
that wasn't meant to be that wasn't meant to be a jab at him. Like I just respect that. I respect that he has been working on this for 40 years and still has a huge passion for video games and is so passionate about running. Because I know damn well I've seen him numerous times respond to people on Reddit. He is talking truth when he says that. When he says he is constantly talking to people on Reddit and responding to criticism on there. And so I fully believe that. I'm just saying it's crazy to be in an industry for that long and still be able to put up with, especially your entire community like this, throwing pitchforks and torches at you. Like, damn. My respect for Gribbly is actually really high. Because it's not his specific... he's not specifically responsible for everything poorly that's going. I got a 307, which is former world record. Modern true, any %. I'm sad it got beat, but it's fine as I finally got it back after 3 years. What the hell? What do you mean a 307? You mean a 407? Because a 307 would definitely only be possible cheating or with that extremely old skip where you could skip like all of course 1. Even then, it probably wouldn't have been possible. So I have no clue what you mean by a 307, unless if you are actively cheating. Because there are speedrunning rules within Rec Room. Anyway.
Right down to it is, you have to balance 3 things. You have to balance creativity and making something that's creatively interesting and creatively satisfying and interesting and cool and has a lot of love in it. Super important. You can't make a cool game without that. But equally important is there's a technical piece, which is what you're doing needs to be technically possible and needs to be technically challenging. You need to be raising the bar in some regard of what are you doing that's technically interesting? And then the third piece of it, that's all 3 of these are equally important, is the business piece. Is there a business model that supports what you're doing? Because if you've got only creativity but no business model, no technology. You know, you've really got, you know, it might be a really interesting piece of art, but it's not something that's going to sustain employing a lot of people or having a company. If all you've got is business and no creativity, then I think you do have really something corporate and soulless, and you know, and those things often don't sustain very well or build good communities. And obviously the technical piece is really, really important to make it all possible. If you can't solve the technical problems, you might have an amazing idea with a great business model, but if you can't build it and execute it and keep it running, then, you know, what's the point?
I agree with
So,
that.
You know, that's how we think of it. Is I think, you know, it's not just about the numbers, but the numbers do look good. I'm very, very excited for what Rec Room looks like in 2 or 3 years. I think we'll be a lot further down.
Yeah, the numbers look good. Thing is that I've noticed a lot more over the past few years. The turn of Rec Room has been pushed towards the direction of bringing in more children than anything, and that's not me saying like, oh, there's too many kids in Rec Room, blah blah blah. I'm just saying like they said themselves they don't run many ads, but the ads that they do run, I would like to point out they are very, very, very clearly directed at like toddlers and little kids, little Timmies on iPads, and those people aren't. Those people are probably the only people that you can realistically bring in large numbers right now, because they don't have the intellect to realize how shit of a state the community is in right now. The game itself is doing fine. The game is doing fine monetarily. It's doing fine in numbers, but like in community feedback, which is something that they are trying to address, but they are not doing a very good job of it, and a lot of people are angry. You know who will ignore the fact that everyone is angry is little kids. So those are the people that you're going to bring in, but it's not gonna work long term to keep bringing in little kids, because little kids will find one new shiny thing and they'll go, oh, this is going to be my new hyperfixation now. You know, they'll forget Rec Room pretty quickly. So I don't think that's as sustainable as you make it sound, but then again, I could be wrong. I have a feeling that most of the people that you bring in, though, are not above the age of 13. They're mostly junior accounts, and I've noticed that by noticing just how many junior accounts I interact with in public lobbies. Therapeutic. Hey, what's up? Hey, Brody, just wanted to say thank you for the kind words. My friends pointed out that you mentioned my comment on your stream. Yeah, of course. I do really stand by what you said in the recent video you made, where I think a lot of the criticisms that people are making for Rec Room have been directed very blindly. I don't think people know that they are not happy, but they don't know what they want. And so the way that you pointed out that like you listed the things that people want, or that people are trying to communicate with Rec Room directly in an actual healthy and criticizing manner, is what I really liked about your recent video. And that means the fact that I scrolled down and I seen your comment here on being disappointed about this AMA, I knew exactly what to expect. So, because I was like, damn, that means that they definitely didn't listen properly, huh? And I do feel very disappointed by this AMA. I honestly think it made things a bit worse. Gribbly means well, but he didn't do any favors for me, for the community here, sadly. I agree. I still think it's just the type of criticism that they get isn't very constructive. And so that's why I'm going through this entire thing live, giving my thoughts on each and everything that he says, because that's probably the easiest way to get constructive criticism out, is by doing that. But yeah, I fully agree with the way that you approached talking about the entire situation and all of the hashtag save Rec Room stuff. Like, I agree with everything you said. But yeah, appreciate you for stopping by. It's nice seeing you here. Oh, damn, I got a double click issue.
Road towards,
there we go.
Towards that future I talked about at the start of the video.
And final question from the same guy. Lastly, what is your opinion on the current state of the game and community?
This will
well,
be
look,
interesting.
I don't like that the community, or at least large chunks of the community that speaks to us on Discord and Reddit, is mad at us. You know, the team feels that. I feel
Of course
that.
you wouldn't like that.
And you know, and I'm not criticizing anyone. I think if that's how you feel, you should express it. I've always said from day one. Again, go and fact check me from the earliest videos that that I made with Hairy Man Legs from way back in the day. I would always say we would rather hear the feedback, positive or negative, than not hear it. So, but that said, we don't like that people are upset at us for whatever reason. So I don't like that. And we will work to make it better. I can't promise that we're just going to
I don't know where to go from here. Speaking my mind and putting thought into all of this obviously doesn't solve anything. I feel less heard now than ever before. It's sad. That's why I think that the Save Rec Room thing could have been a good movement if it was directed properly and not motivated with negative intentions towards Rec Room. I think that if the Save Rec Room movement could have been pushed in a way where it is trying to show Rec Room that we have an impact on what they do as a whole, as the main player base of, like, the small chunk of player base that is the consistent players that are very loyal to Rec Room. I feel like if we could have shown in some way to Rec Room that we matter and that we feel unheard without, I don't know, threatening their reviews or being someone's beacon for clout by having the movement exist, then it probably could have been a good, successful thing. But unfortunately, that is not the case. So I guess we'll just have to see where things go. Dang, Tara, they're calling you a paid actor. Me? Oh, no. And people call me a paid actor. No, I literally am a player of this game, just like everyone else. I do get where they're coming from, but sometimes it sucks. Yeah, I agree. That's what I've said, is that, what I mentioned before in the stream is that I think that the main player base of loyal players, like you, me, people who have been playing for many, many years, who really, really love this game, when we start to feel ignored or abandoned from Rec Room, then we will voice that. And when we voice that, that sheds a negative light on Rec Room. And I think what they don't realize is that although they are growing in numbers, they will not grow in long-term players. They will not grow in loyal players. They will constantly be having to push to get new players, because those new players are not going to invest years of their time like we did if we invested years of our time and are unhappy. Does that make sense? Might be a dumb way of putting it, but I think that's how I see it. Personally. Read my messages, please. Okay. Let me see. What did you say? 307. It's a modern true any percent world record. Oculus recenter allowed. Oh, that explains it. Never mind. That makes sense. Exactly. We, OG players, did build this game. We deserve a say to. I hate that they're just ignoring us. I agree, we are the loyal players. I added you to my favorites in game. We should hang out sometime and discuss this further. Hell yeah, I'd be down. Appreciate that, Tara. I'm a huge fan. But yeah, in general, yeah. If it's the to go back to what you're saying, fake Brody gameplays in chat that is talking about Stratmanor. If you are talking about allowing recenters of Oculus, then yes, that is cheating for general any percent. But if it's for that specific percent, then I believe that you had that world record. Sure. I haven't speedran in a long time. Maybe there's more percentage things that I'm not aware of. Anyway, hey Brody, how you been? Hey Jalen, welcome to the stream. I've been all right. Been watching this this AMA for however long now. How long have I been watching this? Somehow I turned 20 minutes of content into an hour and 20 minutes, so that's interesting. Oh, dang. I didn't update the subscriber count either. There we go. Okay. But yeah. Hopefully I can speed run through the rest of this, because this is the first part of the AMAs. Apparently there's a second part of this, and it hasn't been received very well, but like,
the decisions
yeah,
made, or
I might share this on the Discord,
That's not a way
or not the
to
Discord,
balance
on
those
the
three things I was just talking about.
I might share this live stream on the Reddit. I don't know if it'll be counted as self-promotion, but I might share it in the name of getting it in front of Gribbly's eyes to help him understand like the actual criticisms we have on everything that he said. The second part won't be until next week, I think. Poor Gribbly. R.I.P. On God. That's what I'm saying. My biggest gripe from this AMA is probably Gribbly saying that why things are overpriced is, oh wait, players spend more now. It was such a moot point. I think, did he mention at some point, do you have a timestamp of when he mentioned why they were overpriced? He just mentioned that they are getting overpriced, and the reason being that, like, oh, it's unsustainable to go back from overpricing items, I guess. Like, he just mentioned, oh, I think that lowering all the prices is unrealistic for their business model now. But yeah, I don't think I remember him saying why they're pricing them higher. I'm glad to see you speaking out, Tara, because a lot of RecTubers seem very quiet about Rec Room's problems. Yeah, a lot of them are scared to speak out because if people don't agree with them, then their criticism looks bad. And so, yeah. I'm a player and these things annoy me too. I do see both sides of it and I'm trying to be neutral, but I literally feel so hurt by Rec Room now. And you are valid for feeling that way, Tara. I 100% agree. Okay, let me just... Bop. Let's not have that in my chat. Thank you very much. Anyway. Do you know... Okay, even if you don't have a timestamp of it, Tara, do you know what the specific reason it is that they raised the prices? Because players spend more now. Is that the reason that he said? Because... I mean, the reason people spend more now is because you're overpricing them. Like, realistically, we earn less tokens for free. The main way that we can earn tokens is by buying items, or is by buying tokens or by making stuff with Rec Room Plus, which that in itself is a gamble for new players. And we don't earn as much from RROs anymore. So of course, if we're spending more, the only possible cause for that would be because you're pricing them higher. And so I think it to an extent is on us because we are giving them the go-ahead to price things that way because we don't we don't care. We end up buying it anyway, you know? I agree, players spend more because they are pricing them higher. He never should have used that as the reason why things are overpriced. He missed the mark on that question. Very important question. Exactly. I feel bad for RecTubers getting screamed in their ear and people saying, "Can I join you, please? Can I get a pic, please?" A lot of people think that I'm a little kid getting attention, but no, I'm just saying hi. Yeah. I don't think Rec Room would yank our player codes for speaking out. I was always afraid of that, but I don't think they're petty like that. I think they need to hear all of this, honestly. They've always... I said the same thing. Like, I don't even have a player code, right? I don't have a creator code. I'd like one. But unfortunately, it's been closed for over a year, I believe. I don't know. I think it's a word of mouth thing now. But I have been critical of Rec Room in the past. I've made a video a long time ago. 20-minute rant video. It's outdated now. A lot of the problems have been fixed in that video. But in the video, I had made it very clear that it was constructive criticism, and I constantly was saying, like, I don't like making this video because I am afraid to give criticism. But then a dev, Star Centurion, which I think he's not a dev member anymore. I think he left. But he was a very good dev member for a long time. He was very helpful to me. He said that Rec Room actively looks for criticism and supports it, and they would not do something like that if they would not punish someone for criticizing the game. So that's why I'm comfortable doing this now. I don't think they would ever do that, you know? On speedrun.com or whatever, they added a no cola percent and reset leaderboards. Dang. No cola percent sounds interesting. I wonder how that'd go. Like you said, all these answers feel corporate. Tara, have you considered moving your content to different games, or do you plan on toughing it out through rough times? I'd like to move to other games personally. I know that question wasn't directed to me, but I would like to. I just I don't feel like it's ideal for me to, because I don't think it'd get the same number of views, which I think is a big problem, because it's a rocky ship to stay on Rec Room content forever. And I think that's why I'm so inconsistent with my upload schedule, is because, like, what if the ship goes down eventually? But, like, I'd like to move to other things. It's just that, like, they wouldn't get views. I've tried to before. I will tough it out. I believe in this game. It may change in ways we hate, but I think it's solid. Gribbly said it today. He does these decisions because he's trying to think long term. Yeah, I agree. I think the fact they are thinking long term is good, but the thing that I'm thinking is that, like, the way that they're doing it and the choices that they're making feel ill-guided is the word I was looking for, personally, in my opinion. But yeah, anyway, I forgot I'm streaming. Shit.
But you know, so we don't like that.
Back to the
And
question.
then, what was the rest of the question? How do I feel about the community? Oh, and the state of the game, just generally. I'll tell you what's really bugging me is just performance in general. Like, I'm doing this AMA in a quest. The performance of Rec Room is
Now let me put my chat over here
as
now.
I make this AMA. I think the performance of the UI
Temporarily.
is substandard. I think some of the rooms that I'm going to, the performance is too low, so that's really bugging me. So if I had a magic wand and I could fix that, that's what I would focus on. I think we've got a question coming up on optimization and stuff later, so I'll save any deeper answer on that for that question.
Next question is what
Tara, you're good at giving criticism because you also add possible solutions. You don't just complain, you offer ideas. Like, exactly. That's why I agree with everything she said in her recent video. That's why I referenced that immediately as soon as the stream started. It's because I wanted to point out the comment that she made and all that. And also, hey Jeremy, how you doing? Appreciate the kind words. They're severing ties with the original community while trying to move forward too fast. Forgetting your roots is not a good look. Rec Room should pander to us during this tough transition. That is true. That is true. So I'm being too nice to me, guys. I mean, I don't know. I don't mean to glaze. I'm just saying, like, I do 100% agree with what you have voiced in the past. A lot of your videos I've watched in the past where you have been criticizing things in Rec Room, and I have agreed with them a lot. And so, yeah, I just wanted to voice that. It's not very often that I get a larger Rec Room YouTuber in my chat, so talking about this feels like I should, although it might be a bit too much glazing. Also, I literally hate how they come out with these new creator tools, but crickets, because they scared away anyone that might use them. True! Dude, all of the actual, like, main people of Rec Room, or what am I saying? All of the people who have been loyal to Rec Room for the longest time have been scared away, and a lot of those people would have brought amazing stuff to Rec Room if they would have just waited a little longer and gotten these tools. But Rec Room scared them away because they're very inconsistent with the way that they run things, and it's been very concerning, very scary. As a creator myself, it's very, very, very scary. We're sparking conversation, regardless of it being me saying it or someone else. It's an important convo to have. I agree. All right.
What led you all to transition from the greatly loved VR game in 2018 to making so many bad decisions that receive backlash for and do nothing about, even though you say you'll listen to the community?
I'm trying to figure out if it's more our evilness or our incompetence. Which one do you think is, you know, it's so hard to say which one is more important in that factor. I mean, so I think I've addressed this a few times. You know, look, I think that is somewhat provocatively phrased. That's fine. Clearly, we don't intentionally set out to make those kind of decisions. But yeah, all I can say is kind of referring back to what I said at the
I agree, Tara. These questions were indeed savage. So many of them. If we looked at these earlier, we looked at all of these, and there was maybe like I think 1 or 2 of them are like asking for features, which is like the player volume sliders. Everything else is just criticism, bro. It's so much criticism, and the way that they are worded is so bad.
start of the video. We have a long-term vision here. We are building towards something that I think is really, really special. And it does mean that sometimes we make decisions that if you're not thinking about that long-term vision, or maybe you're not bought into that long-term vision, might seem like backwards priorities. But
Oh,
there is
geez.
method to our madness.
Sorry about that, y'all. My brother walked in. Sorry about that. Other AMA questions. Oh, when will we get another RRO? This AMA. Why do you hate us? Dude, that is so accurate. Everyone was so mad. It was crazy. I was anticipating this AMA for a while, dude. Also, I think this is my best performing stream so far, and I think that says something. Because we're just yapping and criticizing Rec Room. The questions were written to be savage. The questions were written to be savage was by design, I believe, to reflect the tone and not sugarcoat the topic. Whether questions served their intended purpose or is another matter. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of them were. They could have been good points if they worded them in a way that like they knew what they were talking about and wasn't just being mad for the sake of being mad. It feels like a lot of them are just being like, why do you guys hate us? Which, yes, it's good to voice that we feel neglected, but just saying stop neglecting us doesn't help them fix the issue. But yeah, anyway.
We're investing very deeply in the complex underpinnings of a radically cross-platform social UGC app that will let everyone build and collaborate and make meaningful money and have all kinds of really exciting.
Yeah, because it's all about the money.
That's really what we're focused on, and that does mean that yeah, we've had to deprioritize some things that people were very invested in early in the game.
Next question. It's great that y'all are actually trying with Rooms 2. For me, it's a lot like the transition from CV1 to CV2, and how much that was hated.
So
Yeah, I think that's another thing. As a community, we are extremely tired of Rec Room pushing new shit out that we didn't ask for and then forcing us to get used to it. It started with CV1 to CV2, and then it went from regular rooms to studio, and then from regular rooms to Rooms 2.0. And now there's just so many things that they're working on and they're pushing that we don't give a shit about. And each time, it's so hard to bring the motivation to get used to those things, knowing that Rec Room might just push another thing later on that'll make it obsolete. You know? Like, as a creator, I haven't been making maps recently because I don't feel like getting into learning Rooms 2.0 and stuff. Because when's Rooms 3.0 going to come out, you know? If I may ask, what religion are you a part of? Like, are you Christian, Catholic? I am not religious, personally, if you're asking me. Oh, are you asking Jalen? Okay. Because Jalen said they got baptized. Okay. I was so curious how they handle that. A lot of the most upvoted comments were at least a little snarky. Yeah, I agree. They were very, very snarky. I love the tools they bring to creators. The problem is that they don't support people on that journey. Their first iteration of the game was Maker Pen is easy, and now it's learn this complex stuff. Exactly. Why I loved it, even when I wasn't making money from it. I loved making games back in 2020 because I just enjoyed making something that someone else would enjoy. But now it feels like, because one, I'm a big creator in Rec Room, and two, all the tools are like super, super new. I feel a lot of pressure that like I have to learn new stuff and I have to get used to the new systems that they keep pushing, and also make something that is above what I've made before, which isn't something that I want to hold myself to. I just want to make something that someone enjoys. but I feel like I always have to step it up because I'm a big creator, and that expectation is put onto me. But that also, it's hard to do that if I'm not implementing the new tools that they're making, which they do not give any support for. You know? The creativity of the old Rec Room was amazing. Their push towards new ways shoved creators out of the way. They should realize that shoving the best creators out of the way is planned to fail. Yeah, I understand that 100%. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, look, I think...
Here he is
Rooms
talking
2
about the
is,
Rooms
you know,
2.0 transition
I keep
again.
going back to talking about, you know, the
Anyway.
components of this platform we're trying to build. Rooms 2 is a big part of that. Rooms 2 is a huge
Jeremy,
effort.
I really liked your
difficult
rooms.
technical work. You know, I talked about the
I
importance of
enjoyed
balancing
your
creative
content.
work,
I could
business
tell it was
model, and
made
technical work. Rooms 2
for
is
the
very much on that
experience,
technical
not
piece.
for to make a
Of
money,
really unlocking the next
a money
level
bag.
of Rec Room content. You know, I think there's a lot of fair criticism that I would add my voice to of like the performance of the app is not up to snuff. The frame rate's often not great, you know, etc. The UI doesn't perform as well as we want. Rooms 2 is a big part of that puzzle of like really investing in systems that can allow us to scale a lot further and run a lot better on all of the platforms that we need to be on.
Problem
that's
is,
the reason for that transition.
they're pushing Rooms 2.0 extremely hard. Rooms 2.0 is so laggy. The physics in the room doesn't make sense. Saving when there's more than one person in the room breaks everything. Circuits are now within object containers, which confuses me immensely. It's so annoying. Of course, Jeremy. Thing is, that's part of why I also a long time ago I had messaged you to tell you about the room rewards thing, where you have to put your tags on your rooms to let you participate in room rewards. Because I seen you had some active and very well made rooms that weren't very well monetized, and I wanted to let you know of a way that you could get money from them without specifically having to constantly push shit in people's faces that they don't want to have to buy to make any kind of living off of your content. Because I could tell what you were making was specifically for to have people enjoy, and so I wanted to give you a way to monetize that and let you know about how the room rewards thing works. Thankfully, it's automated now, and so it just automatically, if it hits a certain threshold, it works. So, yeah, it is a better system now, I think. But yeah, that was a game changer. I won contests every month since then, all the way until they changed it to the new room rewards. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, I should move that over. Let's go, Madison. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. All the way until they changed it to the new room rewards. I think the new room rewards is better for pushing people to make their games engaging. But it's annoying that they pushed Rooms 2.0 so hard with the room rewards. You know, it's kind of annoying because only top rooms now do well, and then also really well monetized rooms do well for room rewards too. So it is what it is, but like it's definitely annoying. I'm glad to know I could help, Jeremy.
It's a tough one. Boy, it is tough. We're working super hard, and we are really breaking a sweat over it, and we got some really, really smart people working super, super hard on this. But, you know, I think the CV1 to CV2 is actually a good analogy, actually, because, yeah, like that was a controversial change. CV1 was a very simple but beloved system that had a very low ceiling. Like, I won't go deep into the technical underpinnings of CV1 versus CV2, but the nature of CV1 was that it was kind of friendly to use, kind of simple to use, and rightly, people fell in love with it. We loved it too. Like, it was a really cool, fun system to use, but it had a very low ceiling on the complexity of creation that you could achieve. And CV2, that ceiling is a lot higher. Not high enough, honestly, but much, much higher.
Not high enough.
There was a huge...
That's a sentence that really concerns me, because that means, like, God, are they going to push Circuits v3 now? Is that going to be a thing? Please don't let it be a thing, for the love of God. Anything new you want to bring to the system, just bring it to Rooms 2.0. Or not to Rooms 2.0. Bring it to Circuits v2 and just update Circuits v2 instead of the freaking make an entirely new system. They keep making new things and ignore old things, and that's part of why people feel so ignored and abandoned is because they make everything else obsolete. It's so annoying.
Huge jump in complexity. There was a lot of effort required to kind of make that transition. I think we're mostly
Whoops.
through that transition now. And and really, like if you look at the top 100 rooms, all of them are powered.
CV1 breaks so much. All my favorite maps, all my old favorite maps are busted now. I agree. A lot of my old favorites are also very broken. Few old parkour maps. I feel like, Tara, I think you being someone who is like co-owner and a promoter of a lot of parkour maps, I think you might know this one. You know the Jump Force parkour? I know POW was really big on that one a long time ago. That was a main map for me a long time ago. And I don't know what it is, but it's just not the same anymore, especially with how easily the animations and stuff inside of it break. And it's just super inactive because it just can't sustain itself with how much they've abandoned CV1. It was so old though. I think it only has like, I say only, it's a lot of visits, but only like 250,000 visits compared to a lot of other parkours that are super popular. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it was definitely one of my favorites. And now I can't play it with people unless if I'm in a private alone. I tried to buy the map from the guy and revamp it with CV2 so that I could like, revive it or at least make it functional, if not revive it. But I couldn't get a hold of him.
By CV2 or circuits as we call it now. So yeah, tough transition. I know there was some backlash for that too, but ultimately for the good of the platform, I think. And so Rooms 2, I think, will be somewhat similar. It's, a tough transition again, but it really is advancing the state of the game in massive, massive, massive ways. So we think it's worth the pain and the investment.
All right.
That's what I say, Corbin.
I agree, Jeb. I agree. We do need tutorials on all this stuff. They release all these tools and then they give us no at all any guidance on how to use them. They give us paragraphs of things to read through, but there's no tutorials, no teachers, no shit. And then they immediately throw it into the room rewards as if we're supposed to have a map pumped out by next week. Like, it's ridiculous. With both CV2 and with Studio and with Rooms 2.0, they all have the same problem where as soon as they came out, they had no help for the people that were interested in making it work. But yeah, anyway.
Why are you so tall?
I
You're not that much taller than me, are you?
mean, I've been drinking milk. My bones be growing.
True, yeah.
Corbin's
Your
Corbin's
bones
be
are
growing. Let's go.
elongated. All right.
So
All right, Corbin, tell me when you're recording.
I am recording.
Okay, so I am starting to run out of time. Being good questions. Let's do lightning round. Let's just boom, boom, boom. Get through as many as we
Oh
can.
boy.
Okay, here we go. Will there ever be plans to give old RROs content updates?
Yes, I think we will.
Please,
but it's going to be in a way
please
that
do.
fits into that long-term vision of investing in the creator-driven platform. So I think it's unlikely that we'll just go back and touch the RROs in place. I think what is likely is that we will, in close consultation with the community, very carefully, very respectfully, we love these games as much as you do, look at adapting them over to the creation systems so that we can live operate them, we can update them more regularly, and we can also offer pieces of them as templates for our creators to use. So I think we will see some new life breathed into the older RROs, but as part of of bringing everything into the creator-driven future.
I appreciate that, but at the same time, I really do not think that abandoning them now in order to make them better way far into the future is the way to go. When they are broken, when Stunt Runner physics are broken, or when fucking Rec Royale chests break again for the 50th time in a year, it takes forever to fix them. And it's ridiculous because they're like the main things that people play when they first join Rec Room. And so it's ridiculous how much they go untouched for so long. I just really don't agree with abandoning them fully until you have the tools to showcase in the updates to the RROs. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. The funky seat you showed me in Rec Royale. I hope they never patch that, Quick Ant. This is such an important discussion with you creators. I'm so proud of you guys for having this talk and really being honest about this stuff. I've been honest about this stuff for a while. I just don't have really the platform to voice it. I have a platform in Rec Room, but most of my subscribers are people who subscribed 2 years ago or more, and they probably aren't active anymore. Hello, Blima, welcome back. Tara's in the chat, so that's fun. We've been yapping, bro. Like, I've been streaming for what, 2 hours now, probably. Yeah, almost 2 hours, and I'm 30 minutes into the video, so that's a lot. So yeah, it's something. I can't believe it's not butter. But yeah.
When should we see some actual good FPS optimization, more graphic settings than just 3 presets that barely make a bit of any difference?
Oh my god. Yes, for the love of God. Please allow people to manually set their graphics on their platform so that they aren't confined to what they have pre-made. Please, for the love of God.
Okay, yeah, this was the optimization question I was predicting a few questions ago. So yes, fair question. I think it's clear the game.
If he dodges the question
better
somehow, I will
optimization in lots of places.
lose it.
I won't go into the details. I'm sure the person asking the question agrees with me that we do need to optimize. As for when, I don't want to give any answers. I don't think I have good credibility on answering this question in terms of time. What I want to do here is show, don't tell. What I will say is that there is some pretty interesting work going on. We are investing in this. I think
Show, don't
pretty
tell.
interesting work in the pipeline. I don't want to make any promises about when. I don't want to make any grand
You
claims.
turned a 40-minute video into a 2-hour stream. Yes, I did. It's probably gonna, at this rate, gonna be a 2-hour and 30 stream, 2-hour and 30-minute stream, and that is what we call constructive content creation. And actually, what's the word? What's the word that people use when they change content in order to abide by a law or whatever? Like transformative. This is transformative. Because half of this, or more than half of this, has been me talking. It's not just me sitting in the corner, smiling, nodding, being like, oh yeah, or no. I am actually pausing and giving my thoughts and giving my opinions on things. That is what transformative content is. And so while I do not agree with reaction channels when they don't do that, if you actually do give your opinion and pause a bunch and talk about it, then it's transformative. And clearly people enjoy this because, damn, this is doing well.
I want to show, not tell. Hopefully, it'll be obvious when these things are landing. The game's running. You won't need me.
I hate that he couldn't have just said, yes, eventually we will have an option where you can choose your graphic settings. For the love of God, just let people put what they think their machines can manage. Don't just say, oh yeah, we're going to optimize eventually in the future. Come on, man. Like, what the fuck?
Next question is, the Rec Room
Grebly.
community has been eagerly anticipating a new quest. Could you please share if there are any plans for a new quest anytime soon?
I think I've said this publicly before. We will make another quest at some point. We will make, like, anytime soon. No,
I can't wait for Golden Trophy 2 in 4 years from now.
What ready means is when we so just like MLM, My Little Monsters, we just made with the creator-facing tools. We made it with Studio and with circuits and the make.
If he's about to say we have to make the tools to make it, if he's about to say that they have to make an entirely new set of tools and set of cool shit to show off and showcase in a new quest before they can make a new quest, I'm going to lose it. People do not care if the quest brings anything new to the table. They just want a new adventure. That is literally all people want. They don't care if it doesn't bring anything new to the table. Brody, it's fine. It's going to be a super radical cross-platform UGC game. Aren't you excited? Yeah, I can't wait for a cash grab, money bag fucking creating game by some random 6-year-old from Thailand or some shit. Like, dude, stop pinning it on us to make all of the cool stuff. Show us what we can make, and then we will start making it. I mean, even then, people still struggle to make stuff when we know what we can make, because we can definitely make quests or stuff similar to quests. Maybe not especially, like, perfectly like quests, but we can definitely make stuff that are cool story-based stuff like that, because people have. It's just that there's way more incentive to make cash grabs and make stuff that doesn't take months to create. And that's because they have really shitty creator moderation, not monetization. That's fine. Pin it on us, but help us make it. They released Rec Room Studio, and since then, most people who build have been floundering. I agree. Most people who would be using these tools don't have anything to learn how to use the tools, and so they can't make something creative with it if they don't have anything to use to learn. And so yeah, I agree that we could, with the tools that they are showcasing, like in the My Little Monsters, the new stuff that they brought to My Little Monsters, I agree that with that stuff, they're bringing tools that we could make some really cool shit with, but they are not showing us how to use it or what it could be good for. They're just showing it that it's that it can be used in one specific situation, and they don't show how it was used in that situation. They just show that it is capable of doing something. You know? It's not the same. Like, we need tutorials, we need teachers, we need information. We need to learn. And even then, I hate when they push us to learn new shit constantly, because the motivation to learn new stuff when you're probably going to make it obsolete by pushing something else out is not there. They really need a pilot program where top creators or selected people get a year to learn those tools with their help. Imagine, and they just discontinue contests instead. Yeah, I feel like if they definitely like gave early access to these creators and walked them through how to use these tools to like top creators who have good backgrounds, they could absolutely make some really cool stuff. I mean, paid. They need to pay a pilot program here. Yeah. A paid program. I wish Gribbly would explain what he means when he keeps talking about the future cross-platform user-generated content in 3 years, because I thought that's what Rec Room has always been. I agree. Unfortunately,
when we can
explaining
make a quest
isn't
that
their
is as
strong
good
suit.
or better than the old quests that we've made using the creator tools, we will make.
I'm surprised Tara's been here this entire
Why
time.
do you say that only a small
Like, I know you're-
percentage of people do weeklies when you guys
I know you're
come
interested in
out
this stuff,
every month and no
and you
change
enjoy
is
this.
something better.
I know you're interested in this this topic and this discussion, and you're really passionate about voicing your concerns with it. But I did not expect you to stay here this long and just watch me yap and talk and chat. Like, I really appreciate that. The new mantra needs to be the best free community game with the best UGC content. They could do that. Imagine fostering the community. That's a great business model. It would be. It absolutely would be. The same way, like, one thing I like to use to compare it to, and I know this is a controversial platform, but you know the streaming platform Kick. Kick has a 95-5 split for their YouTubers. Or not their YouTubers, for their streamers. And that is insanely unsustainable. But that's because they make money in other ways by having people come to their platform. They don't make money strictly through ad revenue. They make it through having other things on their platform. Unfortunately, that would mean, for their specific case, is gambling. And so the people that come for the streamers stay for the gambling. And yeah, that's a little shitty. But I'm saying that Rec Room can have something similar where what people come for could be free, and what they end up investing in monetarily could be cooler shit that is the not free stuff, but also isn't necessary to enjoy the main experience of Rec Room. You know? Like, they do still need to invest in the free stuff. They can't just they can't just push the expensive storefronts and Mighty Little Monsters and think that we'll be happy with that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah. I think we talked about this one earlier. Hopefully I covered this one pretty well earlier, but just to recap quickly, I think we did communicate confusingly on it, and I apologize for that. That's on me.
I'm on and off eating spaghetti and
They
waiting
were
to put
never
my
a widely
emus
used
to bed,
feature.
so I
That
don't
doesn't
know.
mean that they're
Just roll with
necessarily
it.
unimportant, because as many people have said on the Reddit, on
Emus,
the
damn.
Discord, hey, just because only a small percentage of players are using it, those are some really passionate players who really care about that feature, and that's fair, and I agree with that feedback. It's really two things. It's like, hey, it wasn't used by many people, and more importantly, we didn't feel like we could do a good job supporting the feature. It was clearly decaying. It had gone to monthly. No one was updating it regularly.
They can
I think we have
spend
some other
months
features
making
that
My Little
probably fall
Monsters,
into
which
this
is an
category
insanely
that,
polished
in an
thing, and they
ideal world,
can't
we keep
manage
it going, but we don't
putting
have
out a skin a
time and
week.
people to put towards it. We need to be focused on that bigger
Or
picture
just
future that I've talked
updating
about a lot in this
broken
video.
RROs.
And so as a result, we made the tough decision to be like, hey, it's better to just like take it out completely rather than have it on life support permanently.
Next question. It's a three-part question. Do you guys plan to add a dark mode to the watch or make it easier to use in any way?
That's two questions. Dark mode, I don't know. I know we've dabbled with it in the past. I don't know what the team's plans are right now because I think the much bigger problem and focus is the second part of the question, which is, are we going to make it work better? Like, man, this new menu system that I've been talking about for years, and that, I know we've had a lot of complaints with over the years. I'm not happy with the performance of it. It's not working as well.
I'm
as we
biased
need
in
it
this
to.
topic.
We continue to hammer on it to make it better. So,
I'm biased with the UI optimization because I want it to be as shit as it can because that allows us to use, as a speedrunner, there is a thing on screen mode where the only way that you can glitch through walls is if you open your menu to a laggy page as you clamber an object through a wall. And so if they remove that, then they remove a lot of skips for speedrunning. And so that's really annoying. But at the same time, I understand that is not the main, speedrunning is not the main experience of Rec Room, and I understand that it'll overall improve Rec Room if they fix those problems. So I acknowledge that I am biased in that in this topic. So I won't give too much of my opinion on this. I think a dark mode would be nice. He seems rushed when he says that too. Oh, it's not perfect, so the weekly needs to go. Half of your game is imperfect and you keep it. So I'm so salty about them getting rid of the weekly. I understand too, because the thing is they didn't just get rid of something that a small percentage of players do. What I mentioned before is they got rid of something that a small percentage of players, of loyal players do, and that also content creators do. Weeklies is something that people could do every single week to consistently make content and do something that keeps them coming back to the game in the meantime while they wait for the big stuff. But now we just have to come up with our own shit until the big stuff happens. So like what the hell, man? I don't believe that removing it is the right call because they're also removing a lot of the motivation for content creators to make content and a lot of the easy replayability for a lot of players. So they're not just affecting that small group of players that actually do the weeklies. They also affect the ones that watch the weeklies. Even though they don't go and consistently do the weeklies, a lot of players I know definitely would watch weekly live streams. The weekly was a metaphor. They're trying to get rid of us, the 2016 to 2021 players. They have a new vision and we aren't a part of it. Meanwhile, we played the game for weeks and when the game was meanwhile we played the game for weeks when the game was small. I agree. I don't think they want to completely, they obviously, no game would want to completely get rid of a portion of their player base or abandon a portion of their player base if they at once used to cherish that player base. But I do agree that a lot of their decisions seem to be pushing towards trying to make the future of Rec Room not based around what it used to be. And that is neglecting us. And that is the main thing that a lot of people are really, really mad about. Hello, Josh. Welcome to the stream. Okay, 8 minutes left.
Yes, dark mode. No
That's like what?
Next
20 minutes of
questions are
content?
the same thing. Why does Make It to Midnight still not have activity boxes? And will future ROs like MLM
Oh,
also
this is
have
what you were
activity
talking about, huh?
boxes?
Yeah. That's a good question actually. So I think the answer is yes, kind of. So the answer is the reason Make It to Midnight and My Little Monsters don't have activity boxes the same way that say Paintball does is that they are built with the creator-facing UGC tools. They are not built using the old RRO systems. And the creator-facing UGC tools, like we don't give our creators the ability to just give away avatar items for obvious reasons. That's how we make our money as a business. We can't just have people giving them away for free. That said, I mentioned earlier in the video that we're opening up the avatar marketplace to be creator-driven over time as well. And so when that happens, there'll be the ability for rooms to give you creator-made avatar items and
I might have just not
a
noticed
reward
it, though.
system that works that way. So it won't be exactly the same, but that's why they don't give you activity boxes. And so we're not currently planning to go back and add them, but you will see something similar come online, I would say, next year.
Next question. It seems that over recent years, you have been slowly phasing out Coach in the game and in promotional
right?
material.
Most
Is
of
this
it's been
by
yapping, and
accident, or is this
it's
a
my best
choice?
performing
Will you be
stream ever.
reintroducing Coach sometime in the future?
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about that. So, hey, Coach is eternal. Coach sees all.
Did he say
Coach
the funny
rules
word?
over
Did I miss
all
it?
in Rec Room. Yeah, all hail Coach. So, no, there's absolutely, like, we wouldn't be able to marginalize Coach if we tried. I think really like in terms of hearing her important authoritative voice throughout the game, she said everything that needs to be said. So we haven't heard from her in a while, but yeah, there's no intentional plan to marginalize Coach. We love Coach.
Next question, what is the big picture for Rec Room's future?
What an interesting.
Yeah, okay. I mean, so
talk.
I think we talked about this one a fair bit. I'll say
That felt like a nothing
just
burger.
one more time. The big picture is we are building towards a radically cross-platform, social, creator-driven UGC
Oh, my
that
Lord.
you can help build, right? So we're really focused.
He keeps using the word social. Why would you be trying to make a social platform by making RROs that do not encourage social experiences? Why would you do this? My Little Monsters does not encourage people to be social. It does not encourage people to do things creatively. It's so linear. Stop using the word social if what you guys are going to be bringing to the table does not encourage social behavior. I love the style. You don't have to just react, but make vids in this mood. I made another one yesterday, actually, as well, in this mood, when I was reacting to the dorm room video, the dorm room update video, and it was well received. I don't think it's performing very well, but I just think it's because of the click-through rate. I don't think it's because the video itself did poorly. But yeah, I enjoy doing this kind of stuff, just giving my thoughts on things like
building
this.
out the underpinnings so you can make stuff that's amazing as we
It's
can
very
make.
moist critical
It all
type
performs really amazingly well on all of our platforms. That is a difficult task, and we are only
type
halfway through that
content.
journey. So yeah, what I say to everybody is like, hey, please, stick with us on this journey, join us on this journey, help us complete this journey, because once we get there, it's a really, really amazing world to live in. So that's the vision that we're
Sorry,
pushing towards.
I
So
tabbed out there
that's
for a
what we're
second.
working towards.
Is the lore actually going to lead to something instead of just selling cosmetics?
No,
Okay.
not really.
Why? Why can't you? Dude, if you could show your community that you can make something just for the sake of allowing someone to go on and be the first to find something. It's so straight to the point and blatant about, no, the lore is literally just to sell cosmetics. Then why should we care? You just admitted it to yourself that the lore means absolutely nothing. It literally only means to try to engage people into buying items that they don't need. That's so dumb. It's so straight to the point the way that he delivered it too. It's just no. I'm starting to believe I
think,
understand why this has so many
I think, look,
dislikes.
I think people's complaints about the law are pretty well founded. We have people who've worked on it over the years and have done a good job of it. I think there's been some fun and cool ideas, and so I don't want to criticize that creative work. But I don't think it's central to the promise of Rec Room. I think it's pretty peripheral. I think it has been mainly used as a...
I would have loved if the lore went down to like some sort of... Because the thing is that they had lore before all the Forbidden One shit and all that. And you can see that still to this day with the billboard in the dorm room. That billboard in the dorm room shows the under construction thing, and that was meant to be for Rec Rally, I believe, which was so fucking long ago. And that under construction thing has not been updated since then. I feel like if they would have followed a 1987 college campus type lore, I would be hooked on that stuff and I would be constantly be analyzing it. How's a peripheral? We love the lore. The Forbidden One was awesome. I love how he just dismisses everything like he knows what we want. He's out of touch. I agree. I would have loved to eat up like some cool lore. I didn't personally. I didn't love the Forbidden One stuff that much. It was kind of it felt kind of unguided, but obviously we know that that's because it was only for monetary gain now. So that's probably why. If they actually had like lore that or like secrets to find and stuff to like a UGC or some shit to actually go down and figure stuff out and find cool stuff and make content on, I would be all over that. I know damn well I would be all over that. I'm probably going to be someone making stuff like that eventually in the future. Like in the down the road, I want to make like a UGC or a UGC like what is it? Not a UGC. Did I say UGC? Like a what's it called? Fuck. I don't remember what they're called. ARG. ARG. There we go. That's what I was thinking. It's very close. It's 3 letters. It's pretty close. You're joking. He took Uitini hostage. It was wild. The lore was legit back then. I agree, bro. You're right. I'm out of line for saying that. I apologize. I will stop criticizing the old lore because damn, or not even the old lore, the new lore. Sorry, because damn,
Ways
they
to
know
kind
what
of
they're
make
doing.
The Avatar items more interesting, and I think it's been pretty clunky.
It's so
I don't think
dumb.
we've done a great job of it. As to what the future of that looks like, I'm not sure. Here's the lore that I think we really feel like is central to Rec Room. Is kind of the sense of being on a campus, having a dorm room.
I'd love to make this all into a video, but I feel like I yapped so much. This would be an hour-long video. Trimming out all the shit that doesn't matter. It'd still be way too long.
Room, having the rec center that you go to. This kind
Oh,
of
boy.
introduction to the world where you're kind of very vaguely.
Atlas did an ARG a few years ago. I loved being a part of it. I did not know that. I would love to see like a full Rec Room wide scale ARG made by Rec Room that ties into the Rec Room lore. I would love to be the lore master and make that for Rec Room if they wanted to let me. But first of all, I wouldn't know what I was doing. Like physically, I wouldn't know what I was doing. I'd know how to plan it. I just wouldn't know how to execute it, properly at least. But I still would like to see something on that scale happen. You know, it'd be cool.
Like a student coming to a university, coming on campus, that kind of like orients you in the
We got
world. We really
5
care about
minutes.
that. We really
A
care
little-
about the
a little less.
vibe
We
of
got
Rec
4
Room
minutes
being
left.
Grounded in that kind of Rec Room universe. The
It was
stuff with,
2019
like,
to start of
the kind
2020.
more,
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
fantastical
I wasn't
stuff,
there.
like,
Hey,
S
Foglu,
and,
what's up?
The Celestials.
Welcome to
is
the
very
stream.
Cool. It's like some really cool creative ideas. I don't think we've done a good job stitching it all together, and I don't want to promise that we're going to focus on doing a great job stitching it all together. It's really just not, I think, at the heart of what we're trying to build, which is, as I've said a million times, this really creator-driven world that we're trying to build together with creators, as opposed to, hey, we're just providing ideas for you. I think it's fair to criticize the lore. I think it's been cool in some ways. I think it's been pretty slapdash in other ways. Again, not to criticize anyone who works on it. I think there's been some really fun work done on it. But yeah, it's not a super high priority for us to have this deep lore in Rec Room.
Will you guys ever go back?
I mean, I'm personally really pissed that they've abandoned any sort of lore or Easter eggs or stuff like that. Because the thing is, they like, do you guys know the pages in Stuntrunner? In Stuntrunner, there are pages in 3 of the courses, and on the back of one of them, there's a code on the back, and no one could figure out what the fuck that code was for. And I went on a deep dive to try to figure out what the hell it could be for, and turns out I just asked a dev member, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it was meant to be for season 2 of Rec Royale, which never happened." What would it? Whatever. I sorry, that was I forgot how to English there, but like, you know, it's so dumb. Like, bro, so many things could have made such good content. Just through that lens of like, oh, it could have been good content. I'm so sad. Wow, not a lot of things are priority for them. Imagine prioritizing the community. Maybe people would actually be using the tools they put out for them if they cared about us. On God, dude. If you guys actually Brody, I literally make the exact same exasperated noises. Yeah. It's a thing for me. I don't know why I do that. Glad to know I'm not the only one. But yeah, I do agree. Like, if we didn't feel abandoned by Rec Room, we would be making stuff that is as cool as Rec Room has made. But instead, they are trying to carry it on their backs, and because they're trying to carry everything, it's instead of like just accepting that we want something specific and we want the tools and we don't care if you only put 20% of your effort into making a new quest. I would love to see the new quest. If you can make that for me, then I'd be down to make my own creative shit, because I would enjoy that. It would inspire me. But instead they're making My Little Monsters, which is the most linear thing. Must be a Canadian thing. Y'all are both Canadian, right? Jamie, let us just say A and sorry from our igloos. On God. Sorry, eh? I'll go down to the
And add new maps
down to
to old
Tim's and get
Rec Room
myself
originals
a
like laser
double-double.
tag and Rec Rally.
Yeah, so like I mentioned this a couple of questions before in our lightning round. Yeah, I think so, but only in the context where, like, for example...
Sorry, what
we
was the
might-
question? I wasn't.
Laser tag and Rec Rally.
Will you ever go back and add new maps to old RROs like Laser Tag and Rec Rally? Oh my God, Rec Rally needs a revamp. It needs a new map. At least 2 more. It needs 2. It would be so much more fun if there was more variety. It really needs it. Laser Tag, it also does need maybe at least 1.
Yeah, so like I mentioned this a couple of questions before in our lightning round.
The Canadian
yeah,
talk,
I think
it's
so,
great.
but only in the context where, like, for example, we might take something like Rec Rally and kind of update it to use absolutely latest and greatest creative systems, like, for example, bring it over to be a Rooms 2 room. And in that context, really focus on adding some more maps, making it, fleshing it out. We could do that with any of the older RROs.
Will there be any updates or optimizations to get Rec Room running better on the Quest 3? Also, is Crescendo able to run on the Quest 3?
Yeah, okay, so
Will there be any optimizations to get Rec Room running better on the Quest 3? Dude, how the fuck is it not running well on the Quest 3? Quest is like the main fucking place that so many people... This is the part where he swears? Oh, hell yeah. But yeah, so the Quest 2 and 3 have been the main place where a lot of the very passionate players have come from. And the fact that it runs so poorly is wild. It's ridiculous.
So is Crescendo able to run on the Quest 3?
Yeah, okay, so 2 fair questions. So on the first one, general optimization, yeah, like I said, I'm in a Quest 3 making this AMA right now, and in some rooms, like, relatively simple rooms like Disc Golf Lake, performance has been great, super happy with it. In some of the more complex rooms, it's been really, really suboptimal. So yeah, I think you'll see us investing in making the performance better on Quest 3.
Sure
The
hope he
truth is,
doesn't say
Quest
the F word.
Crescendo almost runs on Quest 3. We actually are able to play through it. It doesn't run too bad. There are some pretty major graphical glitches that we're not sure how to fix. Like, there's just some weird shader issues, and like some things only render in one eye, and it makes it kind of weird and fucked up. So we haven't actually shipped it for those reasons.
Not
And,
on the
reason is,
Gribbly. You can't say the no word. Not on the Rec Room YouTube. My hero. No, you can't do that. How? Oh, I'm quitting Rec Room. That's it. I'm done. How dare you? How could you?
I'm going to go back to the same tune I've been saying the whole AMA, is like going back and like just bringing the old school
The
Crescendo
only reason someone would play Rec Rally is for the weekly. Oh, wait.
to make it
That's so
work
real.
on Quest, which didn't exist at the time we shipped Crescendo, just isn't on the line to our long-term vision for Rec Room. So that doesn't mean we won't do it. I think we'd all love to find time if we could justify it at some point. But just like with weeklies and a lot of other things, like, we've got to be really, really prioritizing the work we do. And yeah, like bringing Crescendo in its current form to the Quest just isn't on that laser-focused line to the future. So we're not investing in it.
Are you going to bring back...
Again, a lot of his answers just feel like, well, adjusting old things isn't on our line to the future. We have to do 100% of our effort to the future. So we can't fix things from the past. We can't adjust things in the past. We can't go to the old things and make them better. They're from the past. Come on. Like, it's such a dumb cop-out of... We do not have the resources to do this. You have the resources to make fucking My Little Monsters. That took you months. And it was extremely polished. It was very well made. And it was a very large project. And nobody wanted it. So instead of making My Little Monsters, maybe we could make, I don't know, the shit that we're asking for. Just an idea.
community interaction that we used to have?
I hope so. Like I said earlier,
Of course, I'm
we've got no
exaggerating to an
agenda not
extent,
be
but, like,
transparent.
at
We
the
are
same time,
trying
I'm
to
not.
talk to people, and we really have made some changes into...
Why even do an AMA if the whole video is just shutting down the community? I liked it better when we were ignored. Damn. That is, yeah, that is... whew.
internally.
That is a harsh
to
way
kind
of putting it.
encourage more people to be talking to
I-
the community.
I hate to say
more
I
often,
agree.
and having that kind of two-way conversation. We'll see how that goes.
Although I think it's healthy that he did this, even though a lot of his answers were really, really, really bad, and it feels very corporate, and it feels like he wasn't actually addressing anything that we were fucking saying for most of them. I do think that the fact that he is at least instantly doing an AMA to try to listen to the community and get feedback was the right step in the right direction. It's just that each answer that he gives usually has been 2 steps back. There's been a few times where I've agreed with stuff that he said, but a few is not how many questions there are in this thing. There's a lot of questions, a lot more than a few. So
I'm hoping that'll go well.
Yeah.
You know, I think from my part, I can keep doing these AMAs as often as I can, and be as involved on Reddit and Discord as I can. But yeah, we really want to be having open conversations, and we're really not trying to hide anything from anyone.
Can you say anything about
he seemed so nervous, and at the end, it was like an awkward party goer trying to leave. I'm out of time. I have to go. I mean, he did say he literally was running out of time, so they started firing off questions. But again, the problem with that is that his answers all are the same. They're all, oh, we don't have the resources to put towards that, even though you do. They very much do. They employ 200 plus people. They are able to pay $20 million-ish probably per year to their employees. They have a valuation of $3.5 billion, although that is probably kind of outdated because it was from like 2021 or something, and it's been a long time. But they definitely have the resources. They're just pointing the resources that they do have towards the wrong things. I do think they should be pushing towards making the future new and improved, and I do think they should be building these tools, but I don't think they should be focusing 100% of their focus on that and that alone. That is the main takeaway that I have for this entire thing. I think he's right. They're not trying to hide anything, but they clearly realize that they're putting their focus away from the OG community members. Yes. Anyway.
the next RRO? Hoping you don't give us a cryptic answer.
I think the devs are just lazy right now. That's partially why Rec Room is dying. First of all, Rec Room isn't dying. Rec Room isn't dying. The spirit of Rec Room is dying. The spirit of the community of Rec Room is dying. Rec Room, numbers-wise, they're doing fine. Rec Room's spirit is what's dying. Their motivation is what's dying. The community player base, their motivation is what's dying, not Rec Room itself. That's why it feels like Rec Room's getting worse and worse, is because there's not anything new that's coming to the table. You don't get... The longer that you play Rec Room, the less of that initial wonder you have for the game. So the less and less it feels new, and it starts to feel stale. And so the more that they do stuff like this, where they take away stuff from the past that we enjoyed and we cherished, that makes us feel abandoned, and that makes us feel neglected. And the more that they push for stuff that we are not asking for, that again makes us feel neglected. Rec Room isn't dying, the spirit of Rec Room is dying. Well said. It's what I've been... It's where my mind's been at for the longest time now. It's how I've felt. Personally.
Well, so what can I say about the next RO? Here's what I can say. There is going to be a next RO. The wait won't be as long as it has been between previous ROs. I will say the work is well underway on the next one. It's looking very, very cool. I'm very excited about it. I'm not going to say anything more than that. I haven't talked to the team about it. They would be mad at me if I leaked anything. But I think it's super neat, and I think you'll love it. All right.
The only thing that makes me excited is the dorms update.
Round. I've got to go. Thank you very much for the questions. I hope I didn't miss anyone's questions. I apologize if I did. I'm just flat out of time. Super appreciate it. We'll do this again as soon as we're able. But yeah, just let me land on, like, look, super appreciate the feedback. Been reading all of the very...
I don't blame Gribbly. I don't blame any specific dev member. I just blame the direction that they are they're headed and the resource management of the team. I think they constantly have this issue where they do one thing good and then they do 2 things wrong, and it's always in the name of pushing towards making something new and bringing something new to the table. But that isn't worth it if it requires you to neglect the things that made the game fun in the first place from the past. And so I think you still, even if it's not part of your future, going and neglecting completely the things from 2020, from 2019, 2018 that you've made, the quests that you've made, even if it's not what you want the focus of future Rec Room to be, you can't ignore it if we're not at the future already. Until we have a future where it is mainly built on UGC stuff and UGC is carrying the game, you need to carry it yourself with what you've already made and succeeded with in the past. You still have to manage that stuff. You still have to make quests playable. You still have to bring content to old projects. Because otherwise, people will get bored and get mad and throw a fucking revolt like they tried to. I don't know if you all agree with me with that, but that's how I think of it. I don't think that that is a good way of pushing towards the future. It doesn't make me excited for the future if you are abandoning the past that I appreciated. It's 3 a.m. here in the UK. Could we created less transformative content, please? I want to sleep. You can sleep, bro. I'm not keeping you hostage here. You can go. The stream is basically done. There's like 15 seconds left. You can go, bro. It's all good. I appreciate you stopping by. Go get your sleep, bro. You're fine. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, quick hand. You should probably also sleep. Damn. Yeah, I saved this streaming stuff for way later for you guys than I'd like it to be. They need to bridge the gap better. Yes, that is the sentiment that I carry. That is the message that I would like to give to Rec Room. If there's one thing that they should take away from it, they have to make the transition more comfortable, because otherwise we will not like what you bring to the table in the future if you don't make it a smooth transition. If you neglect us, then we will not appreciate what you bring. Even if what you bring was in good intention, we will not see it that way. We will see it as we lost what we lost for this, and this is not as good. Even if it is objectively better, we will think it's not as good. And that sentiment will carry out through the community. Brody, it's been a slice. You're pretty wise about what the state of things are. Keep it real. Gonna put my emus to bed now. Lots to think about. Peace. Thank you, Tara. I appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. I'm gonna end the stream now because I don't think he really says anything. He's just doing his outro. But yeah, I appreciate it, everyone. Thank you all for stopping by. Truly, this was really fun to do. I did not think that a stream where I yap for 2.5 hours, which I was right on the ball with that estimate. With that estimate, was 2.5 hours of yapping for 40 minutes of a video. But I did not think that this many people would enjoy seeing what I have to say about this. So I appreciate that. It's been fun. Thank you all for coming. And have a great night, everyone. See you. See you, Jeremy. See you, Josh. Have a great night.